A Pilgrimage for Brianhaw, A Spiritual Journey of Relevance, from the ruins of Barking Abbey to Canterbury Cathedral by Lee D. Miller. That's me. Right, just a last little bit. On the Monday, 4th of July, I received an email in letter form from Judith, and I just want to read, it's in the book and I just want to read it. Dear Lee, well, hello again. It was so lovely to meet you Friday afternoon. It just seemed kind of meant to be, or maybe that's just because I'm halfway through the Celestine prophecy. Speaking of which, I've already looked up the 4 agreements whilst it was in my mind, and so I'll be ordering that soon. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, there was other bits of the conversation. Celestine prophecy came up, and 4 agreements, amazing book. The ordination service on Saturday was really special. There was such an amazing energy in the cathedral. You could actually feel it. It's a beautiful place. The music, both from the choir and organ, was absolutely heavenly. That's what I heard practicing. I think that's what they were practicing for in the cloister when I arrived. It was a very emotional occasion. Whatever one's own spiritual beliefs, for those ordinates entering ministry for the first time, you couldn't ignore the enormity of their undertaking and their faith. My friend is such a lovely woman. I can think of no one better suited to a life in the church. It is a pity that, certainly in my personal experience, so few people in the church as a whole are quite so deserving. It is absolutely her calling, and for that reason alone, I am thrilled that she is achieving her aspirations. She will be a great source of support, guidance and love for a great number of people, and that can only be a good thing. I'm not sure it's entirely appropriate to be starstruck by an archbishop, but take a look at the attached photo. I don't imagine I will ever again get the opportunity, so I simply couldn't pass it by. I was quite tempted to make this my profile picture on Facebook, laugh out loud, but I thought that might be just a bit too ostentatious. Tony and I were both fascinated to hear about your life and the choices you've made. I think your decision to leave the stereotypical rat race is really inspirational and indeed very brave. I can't imagine being strong enough to do that myself, but I truly take my hat off to you for doing it. It clearly brings much liberation. You seem so peaceful and happy. I guess I'm lucky that at least I work for myself, a decision I took 6 years ago, because I too was sick of the commercial mentality of the companies I'd worked for. My particular skills is in recruitment, which for them was always about how big the fee was, and very rarely about whether it was a genuine match between client and candidate, so that both sides were benefiting in equal measure. As a consultant, I never really fitted into that world. I always spent far too long on the personal relationships and making absolutely sure that everyone was happy. It didn't make me very popular back then, when all my bosses were concerned was how much money I'd made them. So working for myself means I can take control and I can help the people I want to help. It's also great because at the moment I need a lot of flexibility. My mum is in the latter stages of dementia. Having been her primary carer for nearly 2 years, there have been times when I haven't been able to work much at all. I think that has been the start of me viewing the world through a slightly different pair of eyes. When she moved into the nursing home in January, it meant that for the first time in pretty a long time, I could spend just a little time thinking my own thoughts, if that makes sense, instead of being simply consumed with what Mum needed. I therefore think it is no small coincidence that now is the time I seem to be embarking on something of a spiritual awakening. I feel quite overwhelmingly that I have a definite journey ahead of me at the moment. I have no idea what I'm going to find along that way, but I have the sense of it being exciting and new. And although Tony is perhaps a little more sceptical than me spiritually, he is totally supportive, so I'm very lucky. I just check every now and then that he doesn't think I'm completely barking mad. I do hope we keep in touch. It was a genuine pleasure to meet you. For now, take care, Judith and Tony. Kiss, kiss, kiss. And that's Judith, with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Ronan Williams. And I've got to say, when I was writing this book, I got a tax rebate in I think it was December of 2011, about £450, and I spent £150 on Christmas presents and all that, just special ones that I've chose for the people and persons. Then I had £300 left. And I'd just built my van. And I managed to find someone where I could stay in Canterbury, and that £300 lasted until Easter. And I wrote this between January and Easter, or February and Easter maybe, in 2012. And the last weekend I could only stay on the land until Easter, that was the agreement. And I was just finishing it off, and I made a beeline to get to the service at Canterbury Cathedral. And I got there late as usual, and the main area was all like totally packed and full up. And I just went round the back. I knew around there's areas around the sort of the back of Canterbury Cathedral where you could also sit but not see the service. So I thought, maybe we could try and get in there. And I went round the side, and I said this to one of the attendants. And he goes, don't worry, come in. And literally let me go in through the full on. I just experienced the service in like the most amazing place. That's just what happens. But then afterwards, I'd made a friend whose family I don't think sort of liked me. She was a Filipino girl from the Philippines who was Christian. Just met her in Tesco's. I was getting I lived off the cheap stuff at Tesco's in Canterbury that was being sold for nothing. That's how I got through, 300 quid. The odd night out for a pint. And like I'd said about going to the service with her because she was Christian, and she said she and her family weren't going. I thought, okay, well I've got to go there. But anyway, after the service had finished, you queue up to Archbishop of Canterbury, shaking everyone's hands as they left the cathedral, and I saw this girl with her family, and I was gutted because she'd lied to me. And honestly, I went up and said hello, and the family was just giving me the cold shoulder, and I don't know, I just remember the look on her face, and I was absolutely gutted that I'd been lied to like that, you know. And I just zoned out for a bit, and then I came to. I looked back, and there was literally about half a dozen people left to shake the Archbishop of Canterbury's hand on his last service as the Archbishop. And so I've just run and joined the end of the queue. So it was totally weren't planned or nothing. And I ended up being the very last person to shake the Archbishop of Canterbury's hand as he finished the Easter service on his last service at Canterbury Cathedral. Amazing. And then I goes out, and I thought, wow, something special has just happened there. And I wanted to ask him about nature reality and all that, what he thought, you know, with the church and everything. So I thought it seemed a bit odd because I was the last person. Then they've gone back into the quarters, and I was sort of hanging about for 45 minutes. Then I went on to see if I could. There was a barrier up with security. And I asked to get through if I could just ask one question, an audience with the Archbishop, because I wasn't in my right way of thinking when I saw him. I was still like zoned out from what had just happened, and that's what I really wanted to ask him. And and like the cops goes, no, but if you go, you'll have to go all the way round and out the gate and come back the other side, because there was by the gift shop there's an entrance. And he goes, oh well, can I just like give him a note? Just hand the security a note. I just want to ask this question. I just got to feel this need to ask this question. It's back with nature reality, you know, what he thought it was, you know. So anyway, I've dashed to the tourist office, borrowed a pen and got a piece of paper, wrote this note out. Then obviously couldn't go that way, so I've run, because he might have been going off to Cambridge or London or somewhere. I think they were going to another service, so I just wanted to catch him in time. So I've run out into Sun Street, run down, come back through the big cathedral gates. The first ones to come in, the big ones. Sort of then run down. Then all these cops start like following me. I was like, I got there. I just stopped, and then like this one copper had seen me in the tourist office. To be fair, he didn't impede me in any way. goes, oh no, sorry, can I just give this to security guard to... Well, to be fair, what happened, there was an opening, the security guard, I didn't run through or nothing, I just stopped by the security guard. He goes, look, could you give this message to the Archbishop, please? It's just a question, I've got my contact details there, I just feel the need to ask this. And yeah, he did. And then the coppers are like, oh, okay, he's all right. But yeah, it was it's quite a little scene. But, all genuine. And yeah, and it's really interesting because I never got a reply. That's fine. The importance was to ask the question. And I just thought it's just really interesting because I think he was probably the greatest Archbishop of Canterbury like we've had in my lifetime anyway. And what's interesting, I think he was known as not the unwilling Archbishop or something like that. It's not something he really wanted to do, but he's calling in and he's put in that position. It's always interesting when someone they're not craving a position, they're doing it because they've had that calling or they know they have to. Yeah, I went on a bit of a ramble then, but I think it's quite important to let you know that. It's still part of the book, isn't it, really? It's all part of the book, and it's just really interesting, Judith, when I ended my pilgrimage, there was that connection with the Archbishop. It's quite special to me, actually. Just another thing that makes it all feel so meant to be, as Judith said, you know. Yeah. Anyway. Time for contemplation, eh? Thank you, Brian. Thanks for all you did in Parliament Square. For everyone. Everyone you challenged. Everyone you helped. And everyone you inspired. God bless. Lots of love.